You're listening to the Zandberben Report, where wealth strategies and investment wisdom collide with Bart Zandbergen, your distinguished host and certified financial planner.
Welcome to the Zandberben Report, showcasing wealth strategies and investment wisdom that is essential for your evolving world. I'm Letitia Burbaum, and I'm your guest host today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Paul, our engineer, who is in our studio as well.
I just look forward to the show. The stunning people that come in, good-looking crowd here every week. That's all I can say.
I love it. Well, hey, I have to tell you, today is not a day that I picked up my shoes and ran, but I kind of thought about it. Orange County traffic. So today I want to welcome an amazing person, and I'm so honored to have her here. Her name is Paula Steurer. See, I'm gonna always say I'm wrong, so that way gives them the opportunity to say it correctly for me. She is the founder of Sterling PR, which is a full-service PR firm and marketing with an office here in California, Texas, and she also has a presence in New York City. So we're really excited to have her here. Right now, she's celebrating 10 years of their anniversary of the firm. So we're really excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. So excited to be here in the studio. And yeah, it's been an exciting year for my firm, the Big 10.
Yeah,
I never thought I'd get here, but here
Ringing
I
am. I'm sure in PR, it's constantly changing and evolving. And so you've probably seen so many things over the years.
Oh my gosh. And you have to remember, I started my firm in 2008, right? So not only is the world of marketing PR constantly changing, but truly in the last 10 years with the emergence of social media and now AI and augmented reality, I mean, the entire landscape is completely different. So yeah, I launched a new business, which was a learning curve, and then the entire scope of the business that I was actually launching changed too. So it's been quite a wild ride, but I honestly wouldn't have changed it. It's been very unique, to say the least.
That's so amazing. And congratulations. Definitely something to say you should be proud of for 10 years.
Thank you. You know, it's hard to believe I got here, and honestly, it didn't even occur to me until about 8.5 years ago when a mentor of mine, one night we were out networking, and he goes, "So the Big Ten's coming up." And I go, "What do you mean the Big Ten? Like, didn't even register."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, your 10-year anniversary. What are you doing for it?" And I looked at him like I'd been, deer in headlights all of a sudden. I'm going, I don't know. I hadn't thought about it. I hadn't even realized we're getting to 10 years.
Yeah.
When you've got your own company, it's your nose is to the grind, your head is down, you're working, and that was really an interesting moment for me, and quite honestly, it was the catalyst for us choosing to expand to Dallas, Texas, which is my new baby, and that was done in honor of our 10-year anniversary, so I could have a presence in what is now the largest growing area in the United States for business.
That's so great.
Thank you.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what kind of clients you're looking for in your business.
It's interesting. I've been blessed the way I've grown my company. We've never, quote unquote, looked for clients. I've gone about that in a different way. So I started my company in 2008.
You didn't have to market your marketing firm?
Oddly enough, I have to date never done any advertising for my firm. Not in the traditional sense anyways. Nice. But, years ago, late 2007, someone close to me looked at me one day and said, "How long are you going to do this for?" And I go, "What do you mean?" And they go, "Well, first of all, you're way too driven. Yeah. Second of all, you've got way too much vision to continue working for yourself. I really think you should do your own thing." And my response was, "Oh, no way." No, are you kidding? And I had all these great trivial reasons why I couldn't work for myself.
Yeah.
And I can be very convincing, as you know.
Absolutely.
So I did a great job of convincing myself that I would not be a great business owner and that I would not be great at doing my own thing. And thank goodness I took about 7 months to get out of my own way. I had to, overcome all these trivial objections I had and rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
So January 2008, ripped that Band-Aid off and walked into the company I was working for and gave my 2-week notice. And it's interesting. I talk a lot about pivot points, and that was a pivot point in my career.
That's amazing.
Because when I did that, my boss at the time said to me, "Well, we're not going to fill your position for a while. So just know if it doesn't work out, you can come back. Which to the average person, that would have been comforting, right?
Yeah, it's a great safety net.
Right? Like most people would have been thrilled to hear that. For me, it was
a challenge.
Yeah, it was someone like essentially saying, oh, well, it's not going to work. And so just so you know, here's plan B, which I just took as fuel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
But to his point at the time, you know, again, rewind 2008,
Yeah.
there was no one,
Yep.
and I repeat, no one, walking away from a marketing job
Yeah.
because that's the first thing that was getting cut.
Yeah.
The economy was terrible.
Right.
I was going into the luxury lifestyle sector, which was getting hit the hardest. So
You're like, here we go. If I can make it now, I can make it in any situation.
absolutely. That's
Yeah.
how I felt. And
Yeah.
so many people around me, I think, thought I was ill or thought I hit my head because it was not the most logical decision to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But truth be told, it was just one of those pivots in my life where I'm so glad I made the decision I made, because now here I am, and
Yeah.
I would never have met you.
Yay.
I know, or had so many of these incredible experiences over the
Yeah.
last decade had I not chosen to do this.
Yeah. I mean, personally, everyone can know you help us with our PR as well, and I think you would do a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so a little side note on that is, you know, before I met you, I remember probably one of our first few meetings, and I was like, okay, so LinkedIn is it.
That's true. I remember.
That's all I can do. And you're like, okay, so what do we have to work with? I'm like, okay, so no family pictures. Nothing personal, business only, okay? And you're like, okay, so we're going to need to expand.
If you follow Letitia on social media, you will understand times have changed since that meeting.
Yeah. But you've really helped me as a business person in being able to break out of my shell and help me with branding and really understand that it's important to, you know, utilize Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitter and podcasts, and really knowing what you're doing now and really putting it all together. But that's something that we created custom for us and what our goals were. It's more like, you know, great, Letitia, you do great work, but how can we brand what you do and let other people know that? And that was kind of what you did. So I feel like that was something I really appreciated, of creating this like real custom program for me and what I needed.
And thank you for sharing that. I mean, for me, I always say, what's the why behind things? And what you
Yeah.
said is exactly why I do what I do every day. Clients like you who have a true appreciation for us digging in and
Yeah.
working together and working through things and developing things and taking it to the next level,
Yeah.
which is why we don't do anything that's cookie cutter, as you know.
Yeah.
All of our programs for clients are completely custom, completely specialized based on where the client's at, what their goals are, where they're at in their brand growth cycle.
Yeah.
So I've got clients that are brand new that come to me with an idea.
Yeah.
Literally not a name and a logo, just an idea.
Yeah.
And then I have amazing companies that have been in business 30 years and go, oh my gosh, I don't understand the modern world of marketing. Help.
Right.
And so I'll take where they've been and what they have, and we'll create something that's going to help them grow into the next level.
Yeah.
And then I've got corporate clients who are really big names, really big household names, and we help them connect on the ground in different markets like California, New York, Texas. And we're getting into the franchise market as well. So bringing on a lot of franchise companies in different sectors and helping them interface not only with the corporate brand that they're a part of, but also with their target community. So
that being said, I think that that's fantastic. You're really able to adapt, it sounds like, depending on where your business level is, and you're able to really create a custom program for specifically what their needs are.
we are, and it's why over the years we've brought all services in-house. So rewind again to 2008, I launched just as a PR firm. So think grand openings, book launches, celebratory affairs.
Okay.
And I would outsource things like email marketing, social media, graphic design, copywriting. But my clients all did the same thing. They would circle back to me and go,
what do you think?
exactly.
Do you have a name for me?
There you go. We want your eyes on it. What's your opinion?
Yeah.
Can you just help us with strategy to implement
Yep.
this? And so at some point I looked at, my team back then, which was much smaller, and went, okay, so we need to bring this in-house.
Yeah.
And so today, it's all completely done in-house. So we offer, not only PR, so editorial placement, and strategy plans for marketing, but also advertising buys, email marketing, social media, graphic design, copywriting, taking a brand new project and figuring out how we implement that, into a marketing plan. What does that look like? And now in the world of podcasting, which has been super fun, helping people launch podcast shows, market them, and help get their voice out there in a new way.
So great. So I want to say one thing, and then we're going to go for a break, and we'll come back and we'll kind of dive into some really specific questions. But before we do that, we are streaming live, so everyone knows, hey, and we're going to be on YouTube. We're going to publish our video on YouTube as well. But I wanted to let everyone know, if you've ever heard of this thing, it's called the iPhone. Probably everyone has. And it's this purple button that says podcast. I want you to push the button that says podcast and listen now. And so we are the Zandberben Report. Yay!
That's our intro song.
And then you just download it. You just press the button and you download it, and then you literally have it going. So like I have right now on my phone, I'm playing the report. So you get to re-listen to what we talk about. You're able to listen to it live, and also if you have special things that you want to hear, this is where I want you guys to go. So hopefully we're going to get into the takeaways, but I'm going to really pick Paula's brain here today, and I want to be able to figure out what the business owners want. What are some of the strategic, recommendations? How can we leverage our brand? How can we really get in front of the right target audience to be able to move our bottom line to where we really want to be at the end of the day? So she has some really great ideas, and we are going to talk about that in a moment. Stay tuned.
Imagine what it would feel like to lose everything. Your job, your home, your family, your dignity. This has happened to thousands of the men, women, veterans, and young adults we serve at Working Wardrobes. What do we do to help? We provide career development services, life skills workshops, job skills training. We provide the perfect interview outfit, and we get clients placed in jobs. Call Working Wardrobes, 714-210-2460. Donate, volunteer, invest, hire.
When you use the Premier Rewards Gold Card from American Express, the rewards points can keep on multiplying. Buy 3 with triple points on airfare. Buy 2 with double points on gas and groceries. And a single point for pretty much every other dollar you spend on the card. Then, start choosing from over 1 million rewards to redeem all those points. Apply today, and the annual fee for the first year is on us. Call 1-800-AXP-GOLD or visit AXPGold.com. The annual fee for the card is $175. See terms, conditions, and restrictions at AXPGold.com.
All right, back to Letitia and her guest.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. So because of time, we're going to do a little bit of a lightning round of question and answer, but I still want to make sure that we're able to get key points and you're able to really address them in the right fashion. So let's just go ahead and get started. So at what point is some of the business development, do you think that hiring a PR person can make a difference for your firm?
Oh, gosh. Truly, I really think if you are building a brand from scratch, to start in the beginning makes most sense, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because when you're building a brand, you need to develop its look, feel, linguistic tone, look at market position, and all of that comes from a publicist, truly. So the sooner you can incorporate that, the better. You'll have less fragmented messaging. If you don't do it from the very beginning, I would say it's really critical to bring one on when you're at a pivot point. Yeah. So growth spurt, looking to launch something new, you've got an exciting development happening. Bring in the right person to help guide you on that journey, because marketing is just marketing without strategy. Yeah. Strategy helps you actually create impact.
And I have to say, to add to that, having you on board and helping us guide us through this process, it's really been helpful, because then I don't have to spend my time doing those things. I'm able to really outsource that to you and know that it's getting done in a really, meaningful way, specifically to what I want on my target. And I get to spend my time, managing clients' assets and helping the clients with their overall goals.
It circles back to that old saying, it's highest and best usage of time.
Yeah.
Bring me on to be a part of your team and do what I do best, so you can do what you do best.
Yeah, it's so perfect. I definitely have to say that's been the most beneficial, for me. I appreciate it. So in your professional opinion, what is the single most one thing that a business owner can do to increase our exposure?
I'm going to answer that in a little bit of a different way. So I would say the best thing any business owner can do to get exposure is to invest in their brand.
Okay.
Because again, there's a million juice companies, there's a million wealth advisors, there's a million fitness companies. But what makes them different? It's brand.
Okay.
Nike has done a great job. Mercedes has done a great job.
Yep.
Honda has done a great job. Look at all these great brands where they're in saturated industries, but from the very beginning, these companies have invested in brand integrity, the look, the feel, their positioning. You know, I've had many of my clients say to me it was the single best investment they ever made because they had a plan with their brand to not only get it well known and recognized, but actually for the brand to grow, which is what any business owner wants.
Okay, so we're talking about branding.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I start to develop my brand? What does that look like as a business owner?
Mm-hmm.
You have a vision in your mind, but how do you put that in place?
Yeah, well, just like in our meetings, we sit down and I say, share with me your vision. What are you thinking? What are your goals? What are your objectives? Who are you and who are you not? Mm-hmm. I say that a lot. Mm-hmm. It's just as important to know what you're not and what you don't want as is what you do like and who you are and what you do want. And then it's up to me to come up with creative ways not only to give you a look and a feel, so from an imagery standpoint, logo standpoint, linguistic tone, so writing the copy. You know, what does it sound like? How do your editorials read? What do your ads read like? And then figuring out the right verticals to launch it. Does it need email marketing or social media? Do you need a podcast show? Do you need radio shows? Do you need print editorial? It just depends.
So what's a tip if I were to say, okay, I want to start right now. I got to start and, you know, what's the absolute bare minimum that I should have as a business owner?
Well, outside of investing in brand, one thing I think every company needs is a social media presence.
Okay.
But I'm going to say that with a caveat. So to go on social media without a plan, without understanding who your brand is or what your brand identity is, there will be a disconnect because oftentimes in your head as a business owner, because you're sitting in that seat every day, you think that what you're trying to communicate is coming across correctly to your target market. Without proper research, it may not be. So you may be spinning your wheels, putting out what you think is great copy and great content. And at the end of the day, if it's not targeting your exact consumer, with all due respect, you're just having, you know, cool conversations online, but there's no real impact you're going to see. And so again, invest in brand so that way when you are running things like social media programs and ads, there's a result.
Okay, so now we've talked about our brand development and some tips. What are some common mistakes that you're seeing with PR?
Ooh, you know what I think is interesting? So the world of social media is supposed to connect us, but a lot of people forget that there's got to be a human element. So I get that it's a lot to keep up with. I understand. Trust me, on a personal level, I do. But at the end of the day, humans want to connect with humans.
Right.
So what I'm seeing a lot of businesses do is they're putting out messaging that might sound great. It's glamorized. It might be great ad copy. But shoot, on social media, it needs to sound different. You need to have a human element to it. Otherwise, no one's going to want to engage. We see tons of advertisements every day. And the messaging on social can look a lot like an advertisement, which, quite frankly, I don't think any of us want any more of those.
Yeah.
I fast forward through as many ads as I can, so.
Yeah. Do you see, for a business owner, if there's any one social media outlet you think is better than another?
I think it really depends based on what industry you're in professionally. So there's different platforms that do well in fitness versus consumer goods versus, you know, financial services. But I think the three platforms that we do the most work with a variety of our clients that we see the best results from currently are Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. But that's also subjective to the industries we work in. So.
Makes sense. Absolutely. And they all have a different tone, I'm sure, and a different voice.
All of them. Different tone, different voice, different strategies. Absolutely.
I'm so glad you do what you do.
Me too.
So, okay, what is the direction that you see PR and media going in the future? The next step?
Oh, God, there's two things that are coming, and most people have heard of them, but I think very few people understand them, and I think there's going to be a big education curve that has to take place. Those two things are AI, or artificial intelligence, and AR, which is augmented reality. Those two components are going to be making major plays in the world of marketing. And so a couple things. I think it's important that we as professionals and we as consumers understand what the heck they are, which is a whole nother conversation.
Right.
And B, how they can be utilized to leverage our different messages we need to put out to our consumers.
Yeah.
And I think both of those are going to drastically change the world of marketing, PR, and branding, just like social media did years ago. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, brace ourselves. It definitely sounds like it's the next step and it's evolving and it's, we're going to go there. It's just being prepared and having the right team put together to be able to really manage that.
Absolutely.
So, sake of time, I really want to be able to make sure if there's anything else that you feel like the audience needs to know about you as a brand, as a company, or just some specific tips you feel like it could be helpful.
I think for me, if anyone wants to connect with myself or my team, our consultations are all free. So you can just visit sterlingpublicrelations.com. Check us out. You can fill out a form that requests your complimentary consultation. Also, too, you can connect with me on Instagram. My handle's @SterlingPR. I am on Facebook, but personally, I don't post much there, so Instagram's your best bet.
Nice.
And I would say final takeaways from today is remember, if you're going to invest in anything as a company, invest in your brand.
Yeah.
And second, if there's one marketing thing that you're doing, look at your social media. Pick a platform that works for you. You don't need to be in all places.
Yeah.
As I always say, you can't be all things to all people, but pick the platforms that work for you.
Yeah.
Come up with the right strategies. Make sure your messaging is in line to hit your target consumer. And ultimately, if that's overwhelming, I'd be happy to work with you and give you some guidance. So
one question we ask everyone that comes on this show is, what's your ultimate lesson learned? And this could be in life, in business, your 10 years.
I actually speak on this a lot. In the last year, I've become an active public speaker for entrepreneurial conferences. And my answer to that is very simple. Life is a team sport. So I grew up as a competitive figure skater, which is a solo sport. I was the firstborn, and I'm an Aries. So if you blend that all together, we don't usually work well with teams. And what I've learned in my 10-year history with my company is that we are greater together than we will ever be divided. And so it's really a matter of what you just said, finding the right team, coming up with the right strategy. And team can take you much further and much faster than any solo endeavor ever will.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
It. And everyone, I want you to tune in to our podcast. And if you want to like us and share us with other people, that really makes a big difference. And we're new in the podcast world, but we're definitely gaining some traction, and we really appreciate all the likes and all the feedback. And if you want to hear something specific, just tune in or text us or email us on the social media sites like the Instagram and Twitter or Facebook, and you can get a hold of us there.
Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you.
Tune in next week for the latest edition of the Zandberben Report, Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Catch up on our recent shows by visiting www.bartzandbergen.com. Interested in being a featured guest on our show or have a question you'd like to hear us answer on the Zandberben Report? Email podcast@bartzandbergen.com.
The Zandberben Report is a production of OC Talk Radio and is provided for educational purposes only. The content of this program and the views of the guests should not be considered as recommendations by OC Talk Radio or investment advice from the host, Bart Zandbergen, or any other entity attached to this production. Investors should always consult qualified financial, investment, tax, or legal professionals prior to investing.